win the Mint 400, you've got to have a flawless day.
Everything looks good.
You have to race smart.
I wanted to win this race really bad, especially after doing well last year.
Go right. Now.
I mean, we had 300-something miles of racing.
Don't let me rip.
Anything can happen.
Oh,
Just a few races in, man, we've battled through a lot of adversity. We've gone through accusations of bending the rules and cheating. We've had to battle through the World Championships and pushing our car to the finish line.
The pressure's always there every race. The nervousness, the anxiety. You try to forget about that added pressure. Try to just get out there and do the best you can and focus on the task at hand.
It was so important for us to do well in the Mint 400. Going into our second season, we had won it on our first one. We felt like we had so much to prove. With consistency and legitimacy in the sport, we were going to lay it all out there.
Yes, there's going to be added pressure when you're the defending champions in any aspect of sports. Me and Dustin do have the luxury of once that light goes green, it goes away.
We were ready emotionally, we were ready physically. We felt like it was our time to shine at this race.
Downtown Las Vegas, thousands of off-road racing enthusiasts congregate on famous Fremont Street for what is known as the most prestigious desert race in the country, the Mint 400.
A lot of history down here. You know, Vegas goes off. This is hands down the biggest race in the U.S. A lot of people, a lot of spectators, a lot of hype. Everyone wants to win this race. So Fremont Street experience is amazing. Great event.
The fastest teams in North America will battle for supremacy on what is known as the most brutal track that the best in the Desert Race Series has to offer.
Excited, a little nervous, as always. Starting early in the morning. Probably gonna wake up about 3:30, and then we got a stage at 5:30, and then start the race around 6 o'clock.
As the current points leader in the Pro Turbo UTV class, the S3 race team is in good spirits for tomorrow's race.
How you doing,
Look at
sir?
my hair, it's getting longer a little bit.
I freaking love it, dude. All we need to do is trim the sides and you'll be on.
My haircut will be ready for Vegas to Reno.
That's what I like to hear. We'll all go out there with mullets. We're walking through Tech and Contingency on Fremont, man, just having a good time, dude, joking with everybody and having fun, man.
The whole Mint 400 experience is amazing to be a part of. It's racing on another level, man. They make you a celebrity for a short time. Sims.
And Dustin collects autographs from his favorite UTV racers.
I can't imagine what this is fixing to say. Love at first sight. It's literally just the same one you gave everybody.
Not even a little bit.
Everything. Good luck, buddy. All right, thanks, guys.
With the deep heritage of the Mint 400 dating back to the 1960s, just about any long-term desert racer you talk to has a Mint 400 story.
1979, when I was a kid, I was so nervous that I stayed up all night walking Fremont Street because I couldn't sleep, and then I fell asleep in the race car.
For S3 Racing, their Mint 400 story starts with their first ever desert racing win coming at the Great American Off-Road Race.
can you freaking believe what we just did? Yep.
I think to myself, we are part of, off-road history, the Great American Race, and we won it.
Dustin and Shane rocked the UTV desert racing community when, as underdogs, they pushed their Can-Am Maverick Turbo to a victory.
Come on!
It was such a pivotal moment for us in our first year racing, and the impact that it had reached far beyond what we expected it to do.
We did it. The S3 Racing as a team won the Great American Off-Road Race. It's pretty cool when you sit back and think about it.
This year, the team just hopes for a good finish.
Just trying to get everything ready, man. It's almost go time.
And to remain in the overall points chase.
Hoping for a good day. Clean run, set a smooth pace. Nothing to worry about.
We try not to put any pressure on ourselves any more than we already do, but we came out here to try to do good. We'll see how the day plays out.
The odds of us winning 2 in a row isn't very good, so we go out there and just race smart, race hard.
Be careful.
I wanted to win this race really bad, especially after doing well last year and improve our legitimacy in this series and in this class.
Dustin and Shane start in the 4th row of the UTV class.
We're about to do this. Yep.
But before they get their shot at the desert, the Class 10 open wheel buggies lead the start line. As rough as the Mint 400 track already is, without a doubt, the desert will be destroyed by the open wheel buggy classes starting first.
Take it easy, have fun. Just keep it when you start driving a little hard. Just remember, game plan. Okay.
To win the Mint 400, I mean, you got to have a flawless day. You have to race smart, take care of the car, and you have to keep a good steady pace.
Full drive. Yep. Watch your light.
It's a crazy feeling sitting there at the light, and you know everything goes to silence.
Here we go, buddy.
But it never fails whenever that light drops. It's go time, man, and you turn into the racer. And you get in a different mindset and you start to push.
Where we going? No, nothing on GPS. Driving hard.
And you know you got to do what you have to run to the front.
Nothing on GPS still. Don't flip it. Hard left, hard right.
Dustin and Shane battle with Brandon Sims through the short course area in hopes to get to the desert first.
Hard right, don't flip my car. No problem. Just keep telling me where to go. Okay, here we go.
It just seems these days, I mean, the guys are pushing a little bit harder. So you have to push even harder.
Don't start. You're driving too hard. You're driving way too hard. We got a gap on Brandon. You gotta chill out. Okay. Hard left. Okay. Don't jump this jump. Okay.
Dustin and Shane look to conserve the car and set a fast pace when Brandon starts to creep back up on him.
Here comes Brandon on the right. Yeah. Hard right. Brandon's on your right. Let him go.
It's a little bit tough to let Brandon go by. Shane has to be that offset for me.
Let him race our race. Let him go. Okay.
And remember that it's going to be a long day.
Long race.
That we've got to conserve the car. We've got to set our pace and we've got to stick to our game plan.
Straight. Long straight. Gonna get it with the horn.
Keeping pace with Brandon, Dustin and Shane gain 1 position. And now they sit in 5th place overall in the 2 UTV classes.
Drive smart. How's the car feel? Good. Okay. Really smooth, actually. Okay. Watch heel. Okay.
Shane had to back me down and let Brandon go and keep him in our sights and wait for the time to strike.
As Dustin and Shane settle in for the long haul, they must race smart in order to stay towards the front of the pack.
Take it easy. We're making a good pace. Okay.
You know, it's too early in the race. There's no sense in battling. I mean, we had 300-something miles of racing. Anything can happen.
Get him on the horn.
Then, Dustin and Shane pass another side-by-side and move into 4th overall place.
Watch that rock. I'd like you to back it down in that run stuff a little bit. Okay? Man, you're doing awesome, dude. Running smooth.
We didn't feel like we were pushing the car too hard. We were taking our time, working through the pack, keeping the leaders in our sight.
Dustin and Shane approach remote pit B.
Stop ahead, hard left. Okay, 978 pitch, you got a copy? Okay, go ahead.
Come back, Shane.
How far out is Sims?
He just passed me. You're exactly 30 seconds behind him.
30 seconds.
As Dustin and Shane enter the pit area, the leaders are nearly in eyesight, with one pulling off to pit with mechanical issues. They gain another position. And now Dustin and Shane are set for podium contention.
Pulled in a third position on track. And so we felt like everything was going pretty smoothly.
Go ahead.
You know, halfway into the first lap, we were in physical 3rd place, and we had the 2 leaders within eyesight.
Everything looks good. Tips, everything looks good. Be careful, Miss Chatter. Okay, easy with that.
Dustin and Shane pace the leaders. They use the media helicopter that's following the 1st place UTV as a guide.
And our game plan was just to keep them in eyesight. We weren't going to push any harder to try to pass them. We just weren't going to keep our pace.
Brandon Sims is now in first place, and he sets a blistering pace.
We're doing good. We just need to keep what we're doing, and maybe even if you feel like you're pushing, back it down. But that's up to you, and let the terrain dictate it. No, I feel like we're driving super easy right now. Cool deal.
Our desire to win this race, our desire to come back and defend our championship at the Mint 400 was much higher than any race we had competed in the Best of the Desert Series throughout the previous season and into this season.
Let's focus. We've got an opportunity to catch them. Yeah, just don't overdrive the car to do it. No, just give good call.
Dustin and Shane enter an extremely technical and brutally rough whoop section.
What line you want to try? Let's stay to the left.
As the track gets wider, they have multiple line options.
Great. Good choice.
If they choose the best lines, they can keep up their speed and maneuver quickly.
The left lane that we were running, we could probably run about, 5 to 10 miles per hour faster than the right side.
Good thing we stayed left. Man, that ain't no lie.
But a wrong choice could slow them down to a crawl and possibly cause severe damage.
Right side was a little bit more square edge whoops, a little bit taller, deeper whoops.
That was a good choice, too. We got lucky. Doing good. Saving the car. Watch the rocks, okay? Stay left.
Dustin and Shane keep a fast pace, and they catch an open-wheel buggy that's running a different line.
Easy right. Dude, what's wrong?
Then, the open-wheel buggy cuts in front of Dustin and Shane.
Why would you do that? What
He changed lanes on us and actually got right in front of us. We knew we were going to need to get around him. We were desperate to get around him because we could see the leaders.
Can you pass on the right? I don't want to hit nothing.
Dustin and Shane have to make a decision. Let the leaders walk away from them.
Go right. Now.
Or take a chance.
We made the decision to try to make a pass on this buggy coming out of the dust in a really rough whoop section.
Don't let me wreck. Don't let her wreck.
I knew we were on the right side. We were probably taking some unneeded risk early in the race. But we did what we thought was the right thing. At that moment in time, we made a decision to keep the guys from making up any ground on us.
We're good. Don't overpush the car. Okay, we got him cleared.
We have to live with that decision.
Oh, good job.
Dustin and Shane push their Can-Am Maverick Turbo.
Watch it, okay?
But then, they barrel roll down the track.
Immediately, the first thing goes to your mind is, are you okay? Is Dustin okay?
I'm sorry, Shane. It's fine. Stop. We're done.
That wasn't going through his mind. The only thing went through his mind was, everybody else. He was sorry.
I'm sorry about that. No, you okay, bro? You're safe? Yeah. Okay, stop it. That's it. Wasn't meant to be.
Immediately discouraged that I had made such a mistake and yard sailed the car at just mile marker 85.
Dustin and Shane are okay. But their Can-Am Maverick Turbo is in pieces.
And then your sense of urgency is gone. You're out the race. There's no way you're gonna be competitive and you're gonna get back in the race when you wreck that hard.
Dustin and Shane have two options. Take a DNF or try to piece the car back together.
We go to work. That's what we do. And see what we can do to finish this race.
We'll send both axles too. They got hubs.
978, do you copy?
Best in the Desert rules state that your pit crew can't come onto the track to help fix your vehicle.
The mountains, I guess they're right on the other side of them. That's why we don't have radio contact.
But your team can give parts to an official, and he can run them out to your stranded teammates.
Just know that they flipped the car and broke suspension parts. So we brought everything from pit A and B. We don't know what it is. We just got to get everything to them.
The Best in the Desert rescue vehicle will deliver Dustin and Shane, hopefully, all the parts they need to fix their battered Can-Am Maverick Turbo.
Hopefully I can get the car back going. Right now I think they're about an hour down. So that's all we know at this point.
rescue truck reaches Dustin and Shane, and they begin putting their UTV back together.
We had minimal tools in our toolkit that we typically use to swap an axle or put a belt in. This is what we had to use to piece our car back together, and it was completely destroyed from the crash.
For the next 5 hours, Dustin and Shane worked tirelessly, repairing their Can-Am Maverick Turbo.
We put it back together, and it wasn't 100%. Some things were still bent, stuff we couldn't get out because of bent bolts. It got the job done, and we could limp it on.
You hear that poor thing? Boy, it feels like there's some tore up stuff under this thing. Oh, yeah.
Fortunately with the Mint 400, we had a Grand Prix style finish, which means after the leader of the race goes through and gets a checkered flag, every car after that vehicle gets a checkered flag.
Don't tear it up, right? Slow and easy, bud.
We were 10 miles from the finish line, limping along 15, 20 miles an hour. So we knew we just had to make it to the finish, and we were going to get finishing points.
Dustin and Shane slowly cross the finish line and salvage what started as a promising day.
Good job, guys!
Then, Dustin congratulates the new Mint 400 champion,
Come here.
Brandon Sims.
Come here.
You did it?
I think so. Overall, too? I think so. Congratulations. Thank you. Finishing a race like that and getting terrible finishing points is never good for a championship. The way it's set up, we fall into the random draw now that we dropped out of the top 10, and so we're going to have to start at the back of the pack this time, and we're going to have to earn our way back to the front.
Yes, we do have a chance to still win the championship. Anything can happen. We're third in points. With the drop, I don't know where we're at, but anything can happen to those guys in front of us.
What we wanted to do was finish the race. We didn't want to DNF, and we barely got it done in time. They were about to pull us off the track. We almost ran out of time to finish it.
If we could have had a good showing at the Mint, then it would have been a huge weight off our shoulders. But now, we're going to have to do a good pace, but also take care of the car.
Considering how many times they flipped at 70 miles an hour, it's not too bad. All suspension's still straight. Ripped the A-arm out of the frame. New roof, all new hubs all the way around, new wheels. We'll be good to go. We'll be ready next race for battle.
Part of racing, man, that's why they call it racing and not winning. It's what happens whenever you try to push at a higher level. When you try to run up front, you take a lot of chances. It just so happened that chance got us.